Hello, this is World Cup Watch. This is the show where we talk to you about everything to do with the FIFA World Cup 2022 from beautiful Qatar. My name is Nick Maitland and joining me are my two good friends, Tierney O'Reilly and Daniel Rowe. And today's preview episode, we're just going to talk about these groups, all 8 of them, all 32 teams. We're not going to say who we think is going to win or think who's going to win the World Cup in general. We're just going to talk about these groups and tell you about the players that we anticipate will do well for their countries. So without further ado, guys, let's talk about Group A. We have the host Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and Netherlands. I mean, all of these groups look difficult, but I think this one is one that looks difficult for different reasons. Talk to us about Qatar. Who knows about Qatar's football team? Anybody here?
We have nothing to.
I can tell you that recently, over the last few years, Qatar has had major investment in players in terms of getting citizenship for past Brazilian players and getting citizenship for players coming up for this tournament, and especially for building their league, because Qatar's league only really took off quite recently, the last 5 or so years, and they built a whole new training complex, not only for teams but also for students and for youth. So they've invested a lot of money from the time they were awarded the World Cup. So
$233 billion.
Yeah, so I know
$3
for
billion.
a fact that Qatar is going to surprise a few people. This group. Group for sure.
And if you look through this group, you have Ecuador, Senegal, Netherlands. Who do you think out of those 3 Qatar could actually surprise?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Qatar goes through.
Wow.
Because, just World Cup history, the host nation usually no matter what rank they are. So we saw South Africa in the group. We saw Russia. So it wouldn't be a surprise. I expect Netherlands to go through. I expect Senegal to do well. We saw Sadio Mane got injured a little before. That's the last game or the game?
The second last game for Barbados.
They still registered him.
Yeah, for sure. You have to.
They have to.
Even if it's just for 30 minutes at the end.
Yeah, they don't have a chance without Mane.
Even if he recovers, maybe for the third game. I mean, Senegal just have a plethora of good players, so it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, you got Sarr, you got Dayo, you got some good players.
Okay, so Ecuador, Senegal, Netherlands, Qatar, that group, I think that the World Cup starts November 20th and ends December 18th. And the first game of the World Cup will be Ecuador versus Qatar. I think that will be at 12 midday here in Barbados. Yeah. So we'll be tuned into Group A for sure. Group B though, guys, I like Group B. England, Iran, USA and Wales. 3 big teams potentially here. And then you have Iran. But we don't want to look over Iran just because they're Iran. But looking at England obviously is the name that jumps out to most people. So Tezio, for me, England team, a lot of news about who was included, who was excluded. I think we need to spend less time about who was excluded and talk about who was included in the England team. You got guys like Jude Bellingham, probably one of the best young midfielders around now. You have Jack Grealish is part of the team as well. I think the striker options for England a bit limited. Only Callum Wilson really, and Harry Kane. Marcus Rashford is there. Marcus Rashford, he's a striker/winger sometimes. So England, we all watch English football from time to time. What do you think about England?
So you said don't talk about who's excluded, but I can't leave. Okay. Tony being left out, I can give you that.
Even Tony?
Yeah, I can give you that. But there is no way you can leave out Fikayo Tomori.
Yeah, I was really shocked with that too.
That is absolutely ludicrous. And I mean, Maguire, he was the captain. You trust him. He hasn't been playing. He has not been playing. Phillips hasn't been playing.
Yeah. Historically, England have been all this explosive team in the qualifiers, and then any competition is 5 at the back defensive football. In South Africa, they struggled. In World Cup in Brazil, they didn't get out the group. Even this last one that they went so far in, they
finished 4th.
Yeah, they still had some pretty underwhelming performances in the group, because as soon as it's competition time, England resorts to their defensive football. So I can see them drawing at least 2 of these games in this group. I can see them in some serious trouble have it to pull out.
I think they have enough quality to get out. Harry Kane is in tremendous form. Harry Kane is going to do some tremendous things. Even if he drags them into the next stage, I can see England going through.
Mm-hmm. Let's see about Group C: Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Poland. If I'm not mistaken, all 4 of these countries, again, from 4 different confederations. Argentina from CONMEBOL, Saudi Arabia from over in Asia, Mexico from CONCACAF, who will host the next World Cup in 2026. The first team to host 3 World Cups as well, Mexico, because they hosted 2 before, and then they will host in 2026, along with Canada and the States. And then we have Poland. No, for me, I'm looking at Argentina. Everybody's looking at Argentina here. So I don't want to wax lyrical about them, because we already know Argentina.
World Cup favorite.
But then we have Saudi Arabia. I don't know much about Saudi Arabia, do you?
I think they were at the last World Cup. They were pretty underwhelming. They conceded a hatful, and they didn't really inspire anyone with confidence to think that they will do anything this year. My money's on Poland for second place.
Poland, what about you, Tezio? I see Mexico in there as well. Mexico has some 100 cappers in there. I was looking at the squad. But Poland, people think that Poland, because Lewandowski, his form for Barcelona has been terrific so far this season. People think that Lewandowski can, I think, in what will be his last World Cup probably, and for many of them, he can take Poland probably to the quarterfinals. What do you think about Poland?
I don't know about quarterfinals, but I can see them getting out of the group. They have a pretty good goalkeeper. Wojciech Szczesny. Lewandowski at top. That's goals for sure. I think Greggy can't pronounce his last name.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happened with the Polish players.
They got some good players. Poland is one of those teams that are going to give trouble, just like Serbia. So don't count them out, but if they don't make it out of the group, it also wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
Because those teams usually do well in qualifiers.
Yeah.
And then they're underwhelming in, like, I remember Bosnia and Herzegovina when Edin Dzeko was in ripping form. They had Pjanic. Then he went to the World Cup and they were a miss.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Group D, we have the World Cup winners, the world champions, France, Australia, Denmark, Tunisia. I must say, I was talking to some guys the other night, and I was talking about the guys who could win the World Cup, and somebody said, Tunisia, man, I want to left out Tunisia. I think he was making sport. I wasn't sure. We know anything about Tunisia?
Maybe he's one of those people that supports all African teams.
Okay.
You're going to find a lot of those.
I ain't really on that one, though. But France, I know that France had a lot of background talk prior to the World Cup. But I think that in this group, France have a good chance of getting out. But one team I would pick up from Group D is Denmark.
Yeah.
Denmark, a lot of people have been talking about their squad, how they did at the Euros as well. So Danny, Denmark, what are you thinking?
Christian Eriksen, I think, he holds all the cards right now for Denmark. They do have a few talented players. I like their centre backs. Kjaer is in particular is a good player. He's
good leader as well.
Yeah.
Speaking about European, Group E has Spain, former European champions, Costa Rica from our confederation, Germany, and Japan. No, this is considered a pretty much a group of death as well. Costa Rica's golden generation, Brian Ruiz and those guys, they will be going to another World Cup. Spain. We all know about Spain. Germany, Germans, and Japan. Japan have a few players. I think there's one who plays for Brighton and Hove Albion. I can't remember his name now. Obviously, we will bring the names up on the screen for you. But this Group E, most people are thinking Spain, Germany will top the group, and maybe Japan in there. But we haven't spoken about who will top groups yet. But not trying to be biased, but Germany can top this group. We agree?
Okay, so Germany? For the fist pumps, I assume that you're a German supporter.
I like Germany a little bit, yeah. What about Spain, Danny? What are you thinking?
I'm very excited to see Spain. The young, hot team. Gavi, Pedri, Ferran Torres. They left out Sergio Ramos, but they've included Busquets. Yeah. So, I mean, I think he's going to be that rock at the centre midfield. I think he's not going to struggle very much in this group. I'm a big fan of how Hansi Flick has his teams playing.
Me too, yeah.
But I don't think that Spain is... I don't see Spain struggling in this group. I mean, my words may come back to bite me, but I don't see Spain really struggling in this group. And I think Japan are definitely one of the dark horses for me. Because Japan always seem to turn up. And it's a lot of players that we might not know of very much in our sphere of the world, but I do see Japan causing some surprises, but I see Spain definitely topping. I see Spain topping the group. I'm sorry. I know you're a German fan.
No, Germany will go through second.
I see Spain topping the group.
Let's look at Group F. Belgium. Belgium is a
last chance.
Belgium got me feel away, guys.
Chance.
We got Canada in there as well, Morocco and Croatia, the runners up from 2018. Now, let's talk about Belgium, this golden generation. As I said, with Costa Rica as well, I think that World Cup shows us how teams have tried to progress their national teams from a certain point. So when we look at Iceland, that was because of the investment made by the government into the team in the early 2010s, and that paid off 2014, 15, 16, and so on.
So you got to look at the long-term project.
So I think that when we see these golden generations, so to speak, we see the long-term project from the particular FA. And of course, we know about Belgium, Kevin De Bruyne. I think that they have a good core as well. The goalkeeper, Courtois, the two centre-backs, Vertonghen, Alderweireld. In midfield, you have Axel Witsel, Kevin De Bruyne, who's probably the best right now, and then you have Lukaku up front. I don't really rate Lukaku personally, but it's a good. We ain't talking about that right now.
You sound like a Man United fan.
I support Bayern Munich. So we have a good spine for Belgium. Canada as well have impressed everyone. First World Cup since 1986, and Morocco was, I think, Samuel Eto'o. One of these guys said Morocco would get to the final.
What I would like to
and then
say,
Croatia.
Yeah, what I would like to say is, for me, this is the most even group, the most level group of all of them. I mean, I would not be surprised to see any of those four teams top. I would not be surprised to see any of those four teams second. So I think whoever misses out here is going to miss out by very narrow margins. Canada with Jonathan David up front, Alphonso Davies. I'm not sure if Alphonso Davies is going to play at left back, because
I think he plays left midfield for them.
Yeah, his versatility is
he got speed on both ends, because Buchanan is really quick.
So I really think that Canada can do well. I mean, there's Achraf Hakimi carrying that Morocco side. I mean, and he does everything: penalties, free kicks.
He's a player like as well.
Wonderful player. And then you have Croatia and their old guard. Croatia is a team that, so I think that group is going to be the most. I think that group is where you see the best games of football.
It's possible. Yeah.
Belgium got me feel good about their chances.
There are two teams that disappoint me. Belgium is one.
Oh dear.
Spain is another.
Come, let's move on. What about Brazil? Brazil are in Group G with Serbia. We talked about Serbia earlier.
Yeah.
Switzerland and Cameroon. Cameroon touted to win the World Cup as well by certain people. Let's talk about Brazil. Everybody has Brazil to win and all this, but I think that Brazil's team, a little bit inexperienced, no tournament pedigree, and I think that they can do well, but I don't have them to win the World Cup.
Brazil?
Yeah, what do you think about Brazil?
I think they are one of the World Cup favorites for me,
think so too.
along with Argentina.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the World Cup will go to South America.
You think so too?
Brazil has a team of winners. I mean, I'm not supporting any one team in this World Cup.
Same here.
Yeah, but
boring guys.
It's not here, so I have nobody to support.
All you Italians didn't qualify. Okay, yeah.
I gotta say, I think in terms of tournament pedigree, you still have a lot of winners in that Brazil side. I mean, even Dani Alves. I mean, Dani Alves, he's not likely to see. Hope
probably
he
not
doesn't see
play
the
a long
pitch.
minutes. No.
But I mean, he'll be in there because he's a great personality. Same reason Conor Cody's in the England side.
Yeah.
Great personality, great leader. I mean, you do have Vinicius and Rodrigo, who did just win the Champions League. And there will be Neymar. You have Thiago Silva. I think that there's more than enough quality in the Brazilian side.
And they also have some breakout stars like Gleason Bremer. So it's going to be good. Their wing backs are shaky.
Yes, very.
I can admit to that because Alexandro has fell off. Like,
then it's just Alex Telles as well.
I like Alex Telles. I just felt like all the clubs he's been to, he wasn't given a chance. but the coach sees something in him, so he's there.
Kind of like Felipe Luis to me.
Okay, let's see that Brazil Group G though. I'm gonna be watching Brazil.
For me, this is the group of death
because I kind of want hate on Brazil because a lot of Bajans is back Brazil, so I try to want hate on Brazil so that I can be like, see, I tell one of that thing, but Brazil have a good chance. Let's look at this final group, which a lot of people feel is truly the group of death. Group H: Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay. And I know who just hollered that. Uruguay and South Korea. Now we know Portugal, we know Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, those guys. Ghana, we know Ghana as well. But I think Uruguay, this new generation at Uruguay, they can really cause an upset in this World Cup and go far. You have Fede Valverde,
Bentancur.
You have Rodrigo Bentancur, you have Darwin Núñez as well. Yeah. They have a new generation coming up, and is enough players to say is a new generation who are going to join the older statesmen like Luis Suarez.
Very interested to see what formation they play with Cavani, Suarez, and Núñez.
I play 3 up front and 3 in the midfield. And go like that. I think Diego Godin is also going to the World Cup.
Other players are pros as well.
Football is not FIFA. You don't just cut your highest rated players on the field.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure the coach will find the balance.
Mm-hmm. I know that there are a lot of human rights concerns ahead of and during the World Cup, but we hope that those are resolved for the betterment of humanity and we can come together and have a great World Cup. This is the end of our looking through the groups here on World Cup Watch, but please stay tuned to the nation's pages so that you can get all of our analysis as the tournament goes on and as we build to the final on December 18th. So if any of your concerns are not about football between the next month, don't call me, don't message me, don't look for me, nothing, because I'll be tuned to my TV. So until next time, this is World Cup Watch, and we'll see you for the finals on December 18th.